So my screenr is on the Dark Knight Rises of the opening scene, which is the plane crashing. So the first thing you see is a truck coming in to the setting, which is very isolated and very wild looking, with like the long glass and the Land Rover like truck. This sort of gives it like a sort of secretive and a military sort of feel. Also with like a non-diegetic soundtrack over the diegetic sound, which gives like that sort of contrasting of what's going to happen next and like the real surreality of it. Then the next scene you have where it's the view image of like the plane with the military personnel standing in front of it. This sort of gives a semblance of power that they control this operation that's happening, and so you instantly know as an audience that those are the people who are controlling the area at that time and the screenplay. Then we have where you've got the three captives on the plane, but they're all kneeling, but none of them are cowering down. So it shows that they're not afraid for their body language. So it kind of puts a weird spin on it because you would expect them to be afraid. So that kind of shows that maybe they're going to take control of the next scene, and you can see that the other characters in the background are acting more panicked and when nothing is happening, and they're not showing what you would expect of a normal prisoner. So then that keeps like implying that like actually the prisoners have control over this scene and that something is going to happen in the next few minutes. In the next scene of when they are shooting them when they're falling out of the plane supposedly, this kind of implies that they're not actually wanting to kill their captives, which then means that they've got something else planned, which could come later in the story. The showing of this shows that actually they may not be the imposing bad guys that they're trying to show. Their characters sort of turn around and seem a bit weaker when they're not actually killing the people, and still shows that these other captives have more power, because if you're not killing them, they've obviously got something of value. So then they're looking rather shocked when one of the captives starts to speak, which is Bane. He's like the bad guy of the film. He has a mask on, which puts shock into their opinion, he has a mask on, which makes him look really disfigured, but it's kind of that shock of like, why does he have it? And you feel that as an audience, as well as you can see it on the other characters' faces in the story. So he then takes control of the situation. So you're up in an aeroplane and you're thinking, how is he taking control? Which sort of leads into how it turns out it's their whole plan. So showing of Bane and making the other characters feel fear kind of puts that fear into the audience with they don't know what's going to happen. So you know it's in an isolated area, so you know there's not going to be anyone else really around. There's like confusion of to why the mask again when they keep like speaking through it. So the not understanding part comes in when the character Bane is speaking and it's saying how extremely painful it would be to take off the mask, but then changes it around to say it's for the other person, not for himself. So this is rather confusing of what you see, and it kind of sets in that he's taking control of the situation and he's a very high power figure in the story. And then with the plane crashing, it kind of explains how he's going to, this is all part of his plan, and crashing the plane with no survivors. The music from the non-diegetic music in the background changes into a more upbeat. So this is the introduction into the action sequence that's about to happen, with the diegetic sound still going on with the turbulence of the plane, which still gives it a like surreal sort of sense to it.